We are doing the Pigeon Key Express today. We decided instead of walking, we were going to take the little trolley to do the island tour. It's a 4 miles round trip, but then you walk around the island. We get to see the shark. They're going to feed the shark or whatever. And you catch this right before the 7 Mile Bridge. And it is parallel to the 7 Mile Bridge. And then there is a walkway that goes down to Pigeon Key, which was a little island that housed all the workers that was working on the railroad. That's what we're doing.
The tour to see the fish feeding, the shark feeding. Do we have to do the tour to see the shark feeding?
Do you have to? Good question. Do you have to go on a tour to see the fish feeding? No.
Okay.
No. CT will explain all of that.
Okay, sorry.
Very good question, though.
It's 1:30 the last right back.
It is not. Our last trip of the day is 4 o'clock.
Okay, so you asked us to be back at 1:30.
I ask you to be back at 1:30 because this time of year these trips often sell out. So we cannot guarantee a ride back on the train except.
So we've made it to Pigeon Key, and I'm going to do a little potty break. We just got off the train over there. We're going to sit down and listen to CT, who's going to be the tour guide. We have an option to take the tour or to go on our own. The train actually comes down this little bridge, okay? You can walk onto this island, Pigeon Key, or you can choose to take the train. The price is different for each one. But I'm going to take a potty break here before I go listen to all the information CT's about to give us. We'll be right back. This diving suit is over 60 years old. Davy Jones. Reminds me of Diver Dan. Looking for the bathroom. Oh, here we go. Look at the eagle up there, eagle's nest right over here. There must be baby eagles in there. Oh my God. And there's an eagle in the nest. I'm wondering if there are babies in there. Whoops. So cool. And there's the one in the nest. She might be sitting on eggs. Not sure. Very cool. I'm going to try to get a view maybe from up on that bridge later on. Pigeon Key. This building over here was the old barracks when the men first came here, and most of the workers that came here to work on the railroad that Henry Flagler, billionaire, paid and worked hard to have between the mainland and the Keys put together. These guys came from Europe. Couldn't get anybody from the United States to do it because they couldn't deal with all the bugs and everything down here and the heat. Very interesting true story about how this all got put together. And did you know that Henry Flagler was actually partnered with John D. Rockefeller way back in the day and was partner in Standard Oil, the original Standard Oil, until the government said, No, you cannot have a monopoly. Interesting history behind it. And so therefore he tried to build the railroad to Key West. Well, Dad just flew away. There's Mom. She's still up there. The baby's right next to the mom. Look at that. Oh, how precious. It's really interesting, and you should really come here yourself. So I had some problems here with my sound, so I do have to voice over it. But these are all the little houses. Many of them had to be rebuilt or restored after numerous storms over the years. But this little island housed approximately 400 or so workers mostly from Europe, because they couldn't get anybody to come down here and work on the railroad that Henry Flagler was building. But he did finish the railroad, and it did go all the way, to here to Marathon, and he was greeted on the first train trip. He was greeted by 10,000 people, and I did get to take a picture of that. And then he retired, like for the 5th time. And then it wasn't that long after his retirement, maybe, I don't remember the exact amount of time that CT told us, but he did then pass away not long after that. And that was after numerous projects. And he was involved in, every time he worked a project where he built railroad, to a destination in Florida, he was also, he was repaid in land, acreage of land. So you'll find that all over the state of Florida, there's property that might be named after him, like Flagler Beach, for example, or for his mansion that is now a university, I want to say in Miami. That building was once the university. That was once his mansion that him and his wife lived in. It's a beautiful little island. It's very small, but right now they still are being used for useful things. I mean, they have a camp here that kids could come and stay at this camp, and they get to learn about sea life and those kind of things. They could stay overnight at the camp, or they can do a day camp. It's pretty cool. So we were not able to go inside these houses, these quarters, because of the fact that there are residents there. There are students that are learning and staying here for the camp within these little houses. The history behind also the previous workers was that some of them, they would just keep coming back. One of the stipulations was that they took employment would be that they were returned back to their country in Europe. And some people turned around and re-upped and came back and worked for another year. So they worked for a year at a time, which was pretty interesting. You really have to see it for yourself and enjoy it for yourself. At one point, this little island was a rest stop that you could get off of the highway and come here as a rest stop, and it had a pool, which is now, I think, where the fish are that we are going to go feed the sharks in a little bit. I hope that you'll have an opportunity to enjoy this one day if you ever come down to the Florida Keys.
Kick place and the short I-beams. That's all that was there when it was a railroad. Standard gauge, went to the tracks, went down to Key West. Once you got down there, you turned around and came back again. Very small, and it worked. Nobody fell in the ocean. No more trouble than any other train anywhere.
I have totally enjoyed this tour of Pigeon Key. It is one of the best expenditures I've made in my travels here to Key West. Now, you know, you can see it as you're going along the 7-mile bridge through Marathon, and just before you get to the incline on the bridge. See the bridge behind me. Let's see if I can get the bridge over there. But and I'm right in between the 7-mile bridge and the old railroad bridge. Now this particular bridge that comes down to the Pigeon Key stops right here, and you can't go any further. And it was the old railroad that existed so many years ago, but it does stop and it doesn't go any further, so you can't go any further. But I will show you here in between. Here we go. Here comes the little yellow train. There it is. 7-mile bridge. Here, this side over here is the old railroad, and that side over there is 7-mile bridge. Here comes the train. That's what I rode here on. They're coming back, and we'll be leaving on that shortly. Right now, we're gonna go feed the fish. We're supposed to be able to feed the sharks, but I don't know that there is any sharks. At one time, they turned this little key island into a resort. It was a rest stop for a while, and then it was a vacation resort, and they had a pool here. Yeah, and people would come here for a rest stop, and they'd never leave. They still would stay here their whole vacation. But you can't do that now. But it is now a place where kids could come here for a camp, and they could stay overnight at the camp, or they could come here for a day camp. It is a little pricey, but they learn a lot when they come here. From what I understand, all the money that supports this Pigeon Key experience is the money that they get from these tours and from donations. Check it out online, and you can learn a lot about the history. Thanks for joining me for this presentation. I'm gonna go feed some fish. Is there a nurse shark in here?
Okay, this is, we have sharks, tarpon. You can see that there's a Jacobell over there. They are in here for when our marine education kids are here. This is a way of teaching them all kind of stuff, but we want to give you the opportunity to feed them. This, of course, is a tarpon. They do that classic shoulder roll. The nurses will be the nurse sharks will be coming in. Anybody want some fish as well? You will get stinky fingers, but you won't. The Jacobell here, let me just get past you a little bit. The Jacobell, which is these bluefish, are my favorite because A, they're very fast, and B, they float in the air. I don't know how how they do that. These, of course, are the nurse sharks, and they're absolutely graceful and beautiful. Okay, here comes the Jack Cavell again. Jeez. Okay, anybody else want to throw some fish in? You're very welcome. Okay, we also have some snook. Good throw. There's some snook in here, and there is a bonnethead shark. And yesterday we had our morays were back in here, our beautiful green morays. So you basically never know what's going to show up in here.
There's a fish riding on top of the...
Okay, those are called remoras, and believe it or not, the reason they do this is they live off the little sloppy stuff that comes out of the shark's mouth. That's what they eat and live on. Anybody else here want some fish? Isn't that fun? I mean, it's like, you know, fetching for fish. It's very strange.
And what are those ones called? The fast ones?
That's right here. It's the Jack Cavell. And the tarpon. Okay, are there anybody here?
I'm good.
He'll get it.
Oh, go ahead.
Usually the snook are here. They're very good eaters, the snook. They usually hang around. Look very much like the tarpon, have a black stripe along the side. So, there we go. I like that he's going to kick water on you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's that little bonnet head. And it's very hard to throw for her because she does this all the time. Zigs and zags. Hard to figure out where she's going.
Late for dinner, huh?
Looks like it might have got something.
There she is.
Amazing. I have seen them. The shark's mouth is open and they have grabbed it as they're going by. They're absolutely amazing. There you go. I wish the morays would come up because they're so incredibly beautiful. If you would go off by yourself somewhere, I can't get it to him fast enough. And of course, all these little small fish, they're mostly snappers. So when I look at them, I just think that big thing there. Right?
And here are a few snapshots. A picture of Mr. Henry Flagler. They were taken in the museum, so they're might be hard to see. And this is the death of the OverSeas Railroad.